Delaware County's only live television newscast from Ball State University's Unified Media Newsroom. You're watching NewsLink Indiana Midday.
Welcome to NewsLink Indiana Midday. I'm Alana Gaither. The clock is ticking for TikTok. It faces a U.S. ban if a non-Chinese company doesn't buy it by tomorrow. That's when an extension from President Donald Trump runs out. It's unclear if finalizing a deal today is feasible, but the White House says it's crafting a plan to avoid the ban. Amy Kiley reports on the negotiations.
It'll come out before the deadline.
The White House says it's working on a deal to keep TikTok in U.S. app stores. A bipartisan law is set to ban it over national security concerns, unless its Chinese parent company ByteDance sells it. TikTok is operating on an extension that ends tomorrow.
You want to make sure that the TikTok app in the United States is not spying on people.
Right.
That's good for national security. You also want to give people access to this incredible platform.
Under the U.S. law, ByteDance must sell at least 80% ownership. China seems reluctant to allow that. President Donald Trump is floating the idea of using tariffs as leverage.
It doesn't matter how many investors want to buy this U.S. app of TikTok. Does China want to let them buy it is the big question. They have indicated that they don't.
A deal also must meet two other requirements. The first is TikTok and ByteDance can't coordinate on data sharing due to privacy concerns. Analysts say that could be doable since the U.S. company Oracle now stores that information. The second is ByteDance can't control TikTok's algorithm for fear China could use it to influence Americans. That's a sticking point that Trump once proposed addressing with a lease agreement.
If you're licensing the algorithm, I don't personally understand how you're solving for that problem, but I'm sure that's something that the U.S. government is talking about with this deal.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
China is striking back after President Donald Trump escalated a global trade war by imposing additional tariffs on Chinese imported goods earlier this week. China just announced it will impose reciprocal 34% tariffs on all imports from the United States. That starts April 10th. The country also added 11 American companies to its unreliable entity list, including drone manufacturers, and it put export controls on 16 American companies to prohibit the export of Chinese dual-use items. China's retaliation against the latest round of U.S. tariffs is more sweeping than its earlier reciprocal actions. Beijing had responded to the previous levy swiftly but moderately. Business owners around the United States are on edge as they try to predict how the new tariffs announced by President Donald Trump will affect their bottom line. A furniture store owner in Maryland says most of their furniture comes from Vietnam, and that country will be hit with a 46% tariff. Brad Bell reports about what that means for customers.
A day after President Trump's tariff announcement at the United Furniture Warehouse store in Bowie, they are desperately trying to figure out what it will mean to them. The general manager on non-stop calls with his buyers. The president of the company saying there is no mystery about one thing.
The consumer always pays.
Regency Furniture president Mark Stewart says most of their bedroom and dining room furniture comes from Vietnam. So do the components for upholstered furniture, which are then assembled in the U.S. He points out that goods from that country are, at least for now, being hit with a 46% tariff. Much, if not all of that, will have to be passed along to his customers.
At the end of the day, they pay all profits. They pay all tariffs, all taxes. It always lands on the consumer. You know, businesses are in business to make money and to get the best values to the customers, and that's what we've always lived by.
This woman shopping for a sofa worries the prices will rise.
I just wouldn't be able to afford something if it goes up like that. And it's going to be bad for American people.
Stewart says he'll have to adapt.
We're continuing straight ahead with the business that we already have planned out for the next couple months. I don't see any change. We got our warehouses full. I think they might put on a beat the tariff sale.
Stewart said he is hopeful the initial Trump announcement is a negotiating tool. Tax day is right around the corner, April 15th. Ahead of that deadline, fewer Americans have filed their federal taxes at this point in the filing season compared to last year. Also, more people have requested extensions. That's according to private IRS numbers and the latest public data. As of March 21st, the IRS had received nearly 1 million fewer tax returns than it had gotten in the same period last year. Experts say the drop by itself isn't necessarily a concern. It's also not unusual. But this year's drop comes and concerns about possible declines in revenue collection. There are also concerns including disruptive leadership changes and internal conflicts with Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. Now let's take a look at today's NewsLink Indiana weather. These are the conditions right now. It's 52 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. You can expect rain this afternoon with a high of mid-50s. Things will cool down in the 7-day forecast. Highs will stay in the 40s and 50s for much of the next week. And there are several chances of rain, especially tomorrow. Many eyes will be focused on the NCAA Final Four this weekend, but another college tournament is happening this weekend, and one Ball State gymnast is taking center stage. NewsLink Indiana's Jaden Collins caught up with Ashley Szymanski as she flies her way into postseason competition.
For the second straight season, Ashley Szymanski is an NCAA regional qualifier.
I think it just kind of speaks to the consistency of the program and just like the coaches and everybody else. So
the two-time MAC conference champion will head to Tuscaloosa, Alabama to compete on the uneven bars after qualifying with a score of 9.875 earlier this season.
Each routine is the same. It's not like I'm going and changing it. So just knowing like my training is there, my preparation is there, and honestly, I'm just gonna have fun with it and see what happens.
At last season's regional to end her freshman campaign, Szymanski earned a 9.9 on bars, tying for 7th overall in the event. She hopes that last year's performance can provide confidence for what's to come this weekend.
It's easy to kind of look back on and be like, okay, like in your first time that you did it, like this is what you did. And it's definitely like, I guess, inspiring to be like, okay, I did it once, like I can do it again.
Head coach Joanna Salim hopes that Szymanski's regional appearance helps inspire other gymnasts on the team.
I'm hoping that she's going to be able to bring that perspective back to help encourage everyone to say, hey, we really can be there as a team on the competition floor, and this is how you do it. You just stay consistent and focused on what we're trying to do.
Szymanski will begin competition in Tuscaloosa Friday afternoon. In Muncie, Jaden Collins, NewsLink Indiana.
And that's your NewsLink webcast for today. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to join us tonight at 6:57 on Ball State PBS. And for news anytime, anywhere, go to ballstatedaily.com.